Hello everybody. So today, viewer question, Arwald C, sorry, I want to get the name somewhat correct, because it's a new one for me, but that's who's looking at this. I'm going to paraphrase, he's finding that if he uses the pan knob, it's acting more as a volume control. Like if he pans to the right, as he pans to the right, it kind of fades out the sound of his of what he's listening to. Now, so what's causing it? Well, now I asked him if it was his headphones, because because it sounds to me what the problem is that it's a mono signal, and because he's panning right, it's picking up only the left side. That's the only sound he's hearing is on the left side. So when you pan something right, it would act like a volume knob because your left side's not working. So it's gonna go away. So I decided, okay, well, let's do a full troubleshoot on this. Now I for the life of me cannot fix this. So excuse me. I can't recreate it. Now, reason why I said headphones is because I would suggest trying another set of headphones first of all. Maybe trying a different adapter. I would say completely try different headphones. And then he did say that he uses a speaker once in a while. So then the question is, well, how do you hook up the speaker? So I'm gonna just do we're gonna talk about troubleshooting sound on the DP32. I've done this before, so here we go. So we're on the DP32. First off, if you hook up your speakers, cables, you should hook them in. It's upside down for you guys, I know. Monitor outs right here. Now, some people use the stereo outs. I do not suggest using those. And the reason I say that is because you lose certain things, which I can discuss and I will discuss. So that's first off. So in here, monitor outs, make sure this may seem stupid because as it says here, these are balanced. You can see. As you can see, I'm not using balance. I'm not using TRS. I'm using a straight, pretty much a guitar thing. And why am I coughing? The reason being that because my speakers can't handle balance, they're not designed for it. So if you're going to use, if you're using balanced cables, make sure the other end is balanced as well. Because if it's not, then you may run into this. And yes, and also make sure that you have both left and right plugged in. Do not use the headphone jack for this. So like this here's your headphone jack on. Can't see it if it's dark, but right there's your headphone jack. Don't use that for speakers. Use the back. That's where you should be plugging your speakers in. Don't use your headphone jack. It could be that your headphone jack is broken too. That might be another reason why it's not. Maybe it's not, the right side is not connecting properly anymore, and it's doing a mono left on you. The easiest way to tell is to run something that you know is in stereo and then listen. And if you only hear one side, then that would explain that. So that's first off. So make sure you have your speakers hooked up correctly. And yeah, so speakers and headphones, so monitor out and headphones, they work the same way on the system, meaning that whatever goes out the monitor outs will also be in your headphones. Whereas the other one that I showed you, the RCAs here, the line out, or just stereo out, I can't tell. Stereo out, they do not act the same. Certain things will not work, such as, first off, your monitor level. That won't work on the RCAs because the RCAs are static. Their volume is static. It's not going to change for you. That's where it's set. So now you have the monitor select button. I don't know. I haven't played around with it enough, but I don't think it stays. I think it will start on stereo. So if you go monitor select, I'm trying to get the screen here. We got a little bit of a glare because it's a beautiful day out. Move the curtain over a bit. That makes it worse. Let's move the other curtain over a bit. There we go. All right, I'm a little darker here. That's all right. So we have stereo bounce, effect send 1, effect send 2. Now, this, once again, the monitor select only works on the monitor out and the headphone. So if you have it going at your line outs and that's what you're using as your main listening, that's not going to work. I'll prove it here. Well, I can't really prove it, but if I play this track, so how loud is that? It's not bad. I turn it down a bit. All right, so I have the guitar track playing. If I change the monitor select, so we'll go to monitor select, switch to bounce. Now in here it changed. You're still hearing it, and the reason you're still hearing it is because it's coming out the line outs into my mixer, going into the computer, but the speakers here have died, so they're not playing it. Same with effect send 1, they're not coming through. Effect send 2, so only out of stereo. And actually you can see, if you look on the side here, you'll see it goes down because it's not sending anything. There it's sending, nope, not sending anything to any of those. So that's first off. So yeah, so that's one thing. So you may have something in here selected differently. I don't know. All right. So the other thing is, now I'm by reading your email, I can see that you know how to properly assign things. You're not just going into, why is the sign not working? There, oh, I clean the buttons. So you're not going into the stereo bus. You're not using that, because that will once again throw things off. Because as soon as you go into the stereo bus, your inputs over here, they are now like full mixing controls. Whereas like when you go in, if you go in the mixer here and you do input A, such as this, all this information here, if you're in the stereo bus, it actually matters. Whereas in this case it does not, because it's not, because you're doing it as a straight input, you're doing it as a straight track. So that's 2. Like I said, I still think it's your headphones. I think it's maybe your plug, because that's what it sounds like. Maybe something else. I don't know how old your machine is. Yeah, so another one to look at. Well, this is stereo's up, but if I have, like, because I'll show you what I mean. For instance, so I'll go in the mixer. We're gonna go on track 1, which is what I was playing, and it's right now centered. So it goes left, no problem. And then it goes right, no problem. So, yeah, I'm a little confused at what could be the problem. So, stop that for a second. Yeah, so I'm just sitting here thinking for a second. Yeah, because you're not using, because when you have it straight to a track, then these do not do anything. They're bypassed. It's just straight input. Your gain is, your trim is the only thing that matters to it, and then it goes to your track. So the other one that I can think of is, if you assign it to a stereo track, are you assigning it like, okay, let's look at, so like here's a stereo track, so 27, 28. Are you assigning it GH like this? So then that would make sense then, if it's not, if you pan to the right and you have it plugged into H, you have input H plugged in for your stereo, your sound, that would make sense then. Because then because what you're doing then is you're on the left side. Because as far as this, when you're on a stereo track, in this case, because we're using GH, H is left, or actually in this, yeah, no, H is right, G is left. So if you pan left in this case, like if you had it plugged into G, or when you're over here, because yeah. So if it was plugged into the left side and then you panned right on a stereo track, then it would act as a volume knob, because it's not picking up the volume properly. Let's see, what else could be causing this? This is just it's a hard one to tell. Trying to think of anything else, because you'd have the stereo knob all the way up. That wouldn't do anything for that. You've assigned the track, you've clicked the record for it, so yeah. I would once again. I know this hasn't been a very helpful video. I've given you some ideas of where to look. I would say, try a different set of headphones, and tell me how you have your speakers hooked in. Because like I said, I know some people who have put their speakers in the headphone jack, and then they have it split and then going out, which no, can't. Don't do that. Do it from the back. Do it from the back where the speakers are. That's where you should be doing your speakers. Is there anything in between your system? Like, do you have one of these? That's not what I want. This is what I want. Do you have something like this? This is a 4-channel headphone jack. So, yeah. So like I said, it's hard to diagnose these things if I'm not there. But what I would do is I would try different cables. Maybe it's a cable. Maybe something's not plugged in correctly. Check to make sure that your speakers are working completely. Like if you do have them separate, because I've had it where one of the jacks it'll pop out enough that my speaker won't work anymore. Yeah, there's so many different things. That, but yeah, the first thing I would do is I would definitely try see if you can borrow somebody's headphones and try it out. If you're using a headphone adapter, like this, something like this, try a different one. The best thing to do is try to eliminate everything that could possibly be, and yeah, it could be something as simple as a faulty headphone adapter, because you need a 1/4 inch, and if you're using smaller headphones, you need 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. Could be that. If you happen to be lucky enough to have, like my Tascams here have it's got the 1/4 inch adapter on it there, and then you unscrew it, and then you have the 1/8 inch you have the 1/8 inch on the underneath. Yeah, it could be that. It could be something there. It's one of those things where you just have to go through the process of elimination, because it's not going to be like someone's like, oh, bingo, it's this. Because I thought maybe it was the sends, but no, it wouldn't be that, because when you send a signal to the effects loop, you're going through if it's on a stereo track, it's considered one track. It doesn't care whether you have a pan left or right. So yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope this helps. I'm sorry I couldn't be more help. Hopefully it was enough help. So that's what I'm talking about today. So have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.